Shalom. Just a quick read on John 5. And Yeshua cures a man at the Bethesda pool. Later, Yeshua went to Jerusalem for the Jewish festival. Now we know, as believers and those who follow the Most High, that the Most High said that these are my mohedim, my appointments with you. These are my Kodesh holy days. These are my days, not the Jewish days, not the Hebrew Israelite days. These are mine. So the days of the Most High, those holy festivals and holy feasts, are of the Most High first and foremost. So when we see a Jewish festival, we know that that means one of the seven gatherings of the appointments of the Most High, right? So near the sheep's gate in Jerusalem was a pool called Bethesda in Hebrew. It had 5 porches, and under these porches a large number of sick people would gather. People who were blind, lame, and paralyzed used to lie in this area. Now, I'm noticing in my book that there's a controversial verse that was just totally taken out. So let me say that it says that in some books it says that an angel would come and stir the river, and basically the first person who got into the river would be healed. Now, what is Bethesda anyway? What is this place? Well, it's where they would go and prepare sacrifices. So there was blood within that pool, right? And it says that an angel would come down and stir upon this pool, and then the first person who would gather in would ding. And now some books say messenger, but see, we know in Hebrew that messenger, that in the Greek it's angel, but the fact is that the word angel is malek. It's messenger. Are there messengers of the Most High? Yes. What can be a messenger of the Most High? Well, messenger of the Most High can be me, you, right? Can be well, what we used to call rabbis, a teacher, a prophet. These are all messengers of the Most High, right? Can it be a cherub or something spiritual of the Most High? Absolutely. So we don't know exactly what they meant. So this controversial uh, scripture was taken out of some books. It was even changed from angel to messenger, which is actually correct. A lot of folks get a little bit upset, but why stirring the river? Now, in some groups of thought, that Pharisees would come down and stir the water up. They would come down, a messenger of the Most High. Could be a Pharisee, yes, and come down, and it would also say time at certain times and seasons. Now we see here there was a festival going on, so there would be it is within a season of sacrifice, right? It could be Passover, it could be whatever festival it could be. This might at this particular point. Um, we know that the Mohadims of the Most High, the 7 Mohadims, the 7 appointments of the Most High, are all in different seasons and at different times. So this messenger would come down and stir, and the first person to get into this Bethesda would be healed, but only one, which is interesting. So Yeshua saw the man lying there and knew that he had been sick for a long time. And Yeshua asked the man, "Would you like to get into the well?" And the sick man answered, "Sir, I've been." And now remember, this guy was been here 38 years. 38 years he's been laying on this. He's been lame for 38 years. He's been coming to this place for 38 years, staying in the same place at the same time for 38 years of his life. And Yeshua asked him, "Would you like to be healed?" Basically, he said, "Would you like to get into the well?" And he says, "I have. I've been trying to get there, but always somebody steps in ahead of me." Yeshua told the man, "Get up, Pick up your cot and walk. The man immediately became well, picked up his cot and walked. And that's interesting if you think about it, because the man had an excuse. He gave an excuse why he just was stuck, right? He was stuck in the same place at the same times at the same place. And what did he have to say about it? He had an excuse. Well, nobody helps me. I have nobody to pick me up. Um, so the man was literally he got in the way of his healing. He had an excuse for why he couldn't move on. And that's like us in life. We have sometimes we have excuses for why we can't get anywhere, or can't get any farther, or we can't get our healing, or we can't get past a certain subject or an issue. And Yeshua said, enough's enough. Basically, get up, and walk. You know. So now there's no more excuses. You know. But sometimes people would do literally anything for a healing or anything for a blessing. I mean, you know, Israel, Jacob wrestled for a blessing. He got his hip broke. But the fact is that he wanted a blessing and he was willing to fight for it. So sometimes we have to fight our way into our blessings. Sometimes we gotta keep it moving. Now, could that man have dragged himself in with his arms? Well, he couldn't walk, but he got around otherwise, didn't he? I mean, somehow he got to and from. So when it comes to a healing or a blessing, sometimes we got to make the move. Drag yourself in there. Drag yourself in the pool. If you know the season's coming, uh, you know, listen, I'm going to be here for a couple days in the pool. So, I'm going to be in the pool, bathing in the pool. I'm going to be hanging out in the pool. I'm going to be right there at the shoreline. I'm going to roll my body in the pool. Do anything we can do to get that healing, that blessing. But Yeshua knew this, but he wanted to take that obstacle away, and because the Most High wanted to say, enough's enough. I'm going to take this obstacle away, and then we'll see what you do with your life. I just thought that was interesting. It was interesting that verse was taken out of this Bible, which I love this Bible. It's fantastic. But you have to be careful sometimes, and we have to go to the original source. I like that 1611 King James version, and I think that's a what I love every Bible, every book there is on the Word. It's interesting that some would remove this. Some had reworded it in different ways to make sense for people. Some people have a problem with an angel coming down, and stirring upon the waters. I don't know why, because the Most High will allow anything to happen. But Yeshua told him to get up and take his cot and walk. And the man immediately did and became well, and he walked. This happened on a day of worship. So this was, happened on a Sabbath day, you know. And so the Pharisees, they call them, they say the Jews, and it would be the tribe of Yehuda, but more likely it would have been the Levites, told the man who had been healed on this day of worship, "You're not allowed to carry your cot on today." "Oh, you can't do that, you know. And the man replied, "The man who made me well told me to pick up my cot and walk." But we know that it was the Most High. He said, "Get up. Enough's enough. It's time." So this Jews asked him, "Who was this man who told you to pick up and walk?" But the man who had been healed didn't know who Yeshua was. Yeshua had withdrawn from the crowd and left. Later, Yeshua met the man on the temple courtyard and told him, "You're well now. Stop sinning, so that something worse doesn't happen to you. So it's a process of sin, uh, generational things that can come upon us, the curses that come upon us for not doing what we should be doing. He said, sin no more. Did he say that you can just go ahead about and do what you need, what some of these churches tell us? You can just do whatever you want to do, and you're still saved. Once saved, always saved. Well, he said, stop sinning. Stop it. Don't do it again, or something worse is going to happen to you. Worse than being lame, right? And can't walk. Something even worse is going to happen to you. So the man went back to those Pharisees and told them that Yeshua was the man who had made him well. So they started to persecute after Yeshua because he kept healing people on a day of worship. Now, and Yeshua replied to them, my Father is working right now, and so am I. And his reply made them more intent on killing him. Not only did he break the laws about the day of worship, but also he made himself equal to Yah when he said separately that Yah was his father. Now, remember that the Pharisees started to add to the word and add to the commandments. I mean, everything from saliva in the eyes on the Sabbath day, walking around ponds, can't step in a puddle, circling around your shoes and having to get on the right foot, all these crazy laws that they started putting into place. And Yeshua purposely started doing these things because it wasn't the commandments of the Most High, it was commandments of man. So he was breaking their laws. Remember when he healed the guy, placed the mud, he used the saliva to do that. I mean, that just infuriated them. He did everything like washing the hands. That's not a commandment. That's something that came about. That's Talmudic. It's the traditions of man. But I just thought this chapter was interesting because 38 years he was stuck. 38 years and had an excuse for being stuck. You know, yeah, things were tough, things were rough, but he had an excuse. 38 years of excuses, and it ended within an instant. You know, and just found it interesting. Thought I would share that. Hallelujah.